Mr. President, allow me to congratulate you on assuming the presidency of the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Allow us to also express our sincere appreciation for allowing us to renew our commitment and contribution as member states in enhancing the United Nations mission of promoting international cooperation. A cooperation that has brought hope to many nations facing persecution in their home countries by providing asylum through the United Nations Refugee Agency, UNHCR. A cooperation that has brought hope to a Syrian refugee named Abdallah. Abdallah fled to Egypt with his family, attempting to escape the traumatic event, as well as the fear that they had experienced in his home country. Unfortunately, this is the reality of many refugees. Going to sleep and not knowing if your house will be bombed, or waking up without knowing if you're going to survive one more day. Not being able to go to school or to run to a hospital due to the danger of being shot. Having peace stolen by enormous fear. Many refugees have lost many of the most valuable things in life. Some lost family members, others lost their jobs, and even the smallest items such as family pictures, events that led them to lose hope. Unfortunately, the result of war can impact even the lives of innocent civilians. They arrive in refugee countries with nothing but their clothes. The UNHCR, a refugee agency that Egypt has helped to found, is an agency that gives refugees the hope to restart their lives in a refugee country. We help restore the hope of a future that many refugees had already given up on. I must mention that the UNHCR is only able to do the work that it does today because of many sponsors, including the member states. Together, through international cooperation, we bring hope to these families. For this reason, for my next few words, I will refer to the refugee agency as we, referring to all of us who have contributed to help refugees find a new home. In 1954, we won the Nobel Peace Prize for its groundbreaking work in Europe. In 1956, during the Hungarian Revolution, we helped 200,000 people flee to neighboring Austria. During the 1960s, the decolonization of Africa produced the first of that continent's numerous refugees crises. We also helped erupted people in Asia and Latin America over the following 2 decades. In 1981, we received the second Nobel Peace Prize for what had become worldwide assistance to refugees. The start of the 21st century has seen UNHCR help with major refugee crises in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. Together, with our cooperation, we helped Abdallah to seek refuge in Egypt. Abdallah and his family are Syrian refugees who came to Egypt with the hope of having a new beginning. Like many other refugees, Abdallah and his family passed through many traumas, such as being forced out of their country under the unfortunate circumstances of war. Abdallah and his family were established in Cairo, where he started school and where later on the door of new opportunities will be open to him. Abdallah was able to find external peace in Egypt, but due to insufficient funding, he now lacks internal peace. At age 12, Abdallah dropped out of school to provide for his 2 older siblings with disabilities, as well as to his father Samir, who is unable to work due to injury. For the past 3 years, Abdallah wakes up every morning before the sun rises to get ready to work. Every morning, as he rises, Abdallah wonders if he will ever get the opportunity of going back to school and restarting his life with the dignity that every human being should have, the chance to fight for a better future and to leave the hurting past behind. His present, though, consists of working exhausting 12-hour shift each working day, sweeping floors, making tea, and performing other manual tasks to sustain his family. Other than adjusting to a new culture and attempting to heal the wounds of the past, Abdallah is now fighting to provide for his family. Egypt has given its best efforts to assure that refugees have the resources for continuing a decent life. In Egypt, refugees are allowed to live in the cities. The majority of Syrians that register with the United Nations Refugee Agency have housing in Egypt because of our resettlement program. In 2012, we granted Syrian refugees access to public school system and aid in education. In addition, with the help of the UNHCR and other non-governmental organizations, we were able to provide free health care for Syrian refugees. The UNHCR is a crucial channel in providing for refugees like Abdallah. By November of 2018, the UNHCR was operating with only 4% of its annual $104.2 million budget for its operations in the country. The number of refugees continues to rise worldwide. The $80 that Abdallah's family currently receives each month from the UN Refugee Agency is insufficient to cover Abdallah's family's needs. The agency that we all helped to found has helped over 50 million refugees like Abdallah to restart their lives. These were also 50 million dreams and hopes that were restored. Unfortunately, the story of Abdallah might not have a happy ending as we expected, and more refugees will face ruin without an urgent increase in funding. As one of the founding nations of the United Nations, Egypt is deeply concerned if the principles of international cooperation might be facing a collapsing stage. We still believe in the driving force of humanitarian work, and we have faith in the effectiveness of the commitments we've made into international cooperation. Egypt also recognizes the importance of having countries that are open to receive refugees and member states who helps with the financial provision to make it happen. Together, we can restore hope for those who stop believing, and through humanitarian actions, we can bring peace to alleviate or even heal those who are wounded by the tragical effects of war. Together, we can help people like Abdallah to continue his education. Investing also means believing. It is by believing that people like Abdallah can continue his education, independently of the circumstances of his past. It is by believing that refugees can leave the past behind and hope for a better future through the opportunities present. With that being said, Egypt would like to express its deep appreciation for every member state who has cooperated with humanitarian action towards refugees by providing shelter or providing funding, as well as to the United Nations Refugee Agency for all of its efforts to continue bringing hope and peace to people in tragic circumstances like Abdallah. The Republic of Egypt hopes that this beautiful work of promoting not only surrounding peace, but internal peace is able to continue and have its harvest. We hope that refugees' lives continue to be restored and that they acquire the opportunities for a better future. The United Nations first started because many member states believed in a cause. And because they believed in it, they invested in it. From the United Nations, the Refugee Agency was found. In the same way, the continuity of the agency and its impact depends on the continuous faith and the effectiveness that our help has in the life of these refugees, and ultimately investment on the cause. Together, we can do it. For world peace, for hope, for healing, and for justice for international cooperation. Thank you.